A reader wants to know what I think of crony capitalism. Well, I don't think of crony capitalism because it doesn't exist. Let's begin by defining our terms. Capitalism is the social political system that recognizes and protects individual rights, including property rights. Cronyism is an exchange of political favors for political support. So when cronyism occurs, a politician will support and attempt to pass legislation that his donors and voters support. So he exchanges, favorable legislation for political campaign donations and votes. Now, in a capitalist society, there's a separation of state and economics. Individuals are free to create, use, and trade values based on their own judgment. Government does not regulate how individuals conduct their economic affairs. And that's the exact opposite of what occurs under cronyism. Take some business regulation as an example. Let's say minimum wage laws. Minimum wage laws force businesses to pay a particular wage to its employees, regardless of the judgment of the owner, regardless of what they think the job is worth, regardless. They are forced to pay a particular amount, based on whatever the government determines is appropriate. And that's usually in exchange for votes. Politicians support minimum wage in exchange for votes from low-skilled workers who think they'll benefit from arbitrarily inflated wage. But in a capitalist society, such regulations could not and would not exist because, as I said, there's a separation of state and economics. The business owner would be free to pay whatever wage he thinks a job is worth, and employees are free to accept or reject that wage based on their own judgment. So when we talk about cronyism, what we're actually talking about is fascism. Fascism is a system in which property is ostensibly owned by private individuals or businesses, but the use of property is controlled by government. And that's what happens in America today. Using the minimum wage example, the business owner is responsible for paying taxes and maintaining his property and everything else that goes with ownership, but he can't use his property as he judges best. The use of his property is controlled by government. So when we speak of cronyism, it would be much more accurate to call it fascism rather than capitalism.